You know how sometimes a song could come on that could, make you nostalgic and bring back memories, really good memories of when you were much younger, like when you were a teenager and you used to hang out with your friends and all the things that you used to do, right? Well, that happened to me the other day, and of course, it brought me back to a time when things were different. Obviously. Things just felt freer, nothing felt that heavy because, we were teenagers, we were young, we didn't really have many worries at all, right? And it brought me back to a time where I would remember going to meet up with my friends, right? So, especially like on the weekends, like the first thing Saturday, we would just all plan to get together, right? We would, me and my best friend at the time when I was in high school, we would call each other up on the telephone. Okay, it was a regular telephone, cord and everything, not like the phone I'm talking to you guys on right now, but it was an actual telephone. And I know that just blows some people's minds, but yeah, that's the way it was. So anyway, we would make plans to meet, and it was a certain place, like a certain corner, certain street we would all meet on, or at least me and my best friend would meet there, maybe with her sisters or whatever, and then we would go somewhere else and meet the rest of our friends, right? So we would meet up and we would go and we would go meet our other friends, and we would be hanging out and waiting for these other people. And then all of a sudden we would just look in the distance and we would see like a bunch of guys in leather jackets and long hair, and maybe like some of other female friends with them, just in the distance, and start walking over towards us, and we would be waving and screaming. And the reason why I say this is that just the thought of that, hearing that song, just made me feel so good, thinking about those memories and thinking about the way things were at that time. And that time just felt so free, right? I'm talking the 80s, okay? I am talking the 80s. And that time just felt so free, and it was a time where you can go wherever you wanted, basically do whatever you wanted to do, say whatever you wanted to say without worrying about someone looking over your shoulder or something might happen. I mean, and of course, social media wasn't out back then. So, everything we did, we did stuff in person. We were not behind a screen all the time. We weren't behind a screen at all, as a matter of fact. We actually went out and did things, right? But just the fact that we were just so free to express ourselves, free to say anything we wanted to say, just free to be. We didn't, when we walked the streets, when we walked around hanging out, going to get pizza or going to get ice cream or going to the diner or whatever, there was not that existential dread. You know what I'm saying? We just felt so free. And it's like you fast forward to now, and so many of us are wondering, like, we didn't know back then that it was going to get to this. We didn't know back then that this was what was going to happen, that freedoms were going to start to be taken away, such as freedom of speech, freedom to exist. And now, of course, as you guys know, I grew up in Brooklyn, so all my friends were of all different varieties, including myself, right? We were of all different backgrounds, and it didn't make a difference to us. Right? We didn't have to worry about, oh, listen, hey, we can't go hang out over there because, you might get taken, or you might get arrested, or you might get detained. We didn't have to worry about any of that stuff. But I feel like a lot of young people now do have to worry about that. They have to worry about where they go, what they do, where they're meeting their friends, how they're meeting their friends, even how they're dressing to some point. And so this is where we are right now, and it is just so scary. I feel like on some level we didn't cherish the freedoms that we had enough, not seeing that it was going to turn into what we're seeing now.